Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for being on my YouTube page. So please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell to get all the notifications to see the new videos that I'm going to be posting. In this month of February 2021, I am on a mission to share with the world all the beautiful, kind, big-hearted women that I know, that I've come to know actually in the past year or so. Some of them are in my country, some of them are internationally, and the next woman that I'm going to be introducing today, my guest today, is a woman who I have yet to meet in person. But I'm so very excited, and we were this close to meet, but because of some traveling restrictions in 2020, we have had to put this reunion on the ice for a little bit. And without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my friend Aimee Keenan.
Hello.
So, Aimee, for those who may not know you, can you please tell me about where you're from, where you grew up, and what was it like to grow up with your family?
Well, I'm from Ireland, Northern Ireland, a little village called 𝗖𝗥𝗔𝗭𝗬, which is nearest to Newry. I don't know if anyone will know where that is, but it's in the countryside. It's lovely. I grew up there and with my family, and I'm in London now. I do miss my family, but London is also very, very awesome. But yeah, it was really nice growing up in a small village in Ireland because you kind of have the sense of community, which I think has always been like a really important thing. Like growing up, I was in choirs and like on the camogie team and like sports teams and stuff, and it's really nice. And probably the reason that I'm where I am today with like singing and stuff. So yeah, it was a really nice place to grow up in, and really, really nice to have like my family there who I can always like just easily go and visit as well, despite the, well, not in these times, but usually.
Do you have any siblings?
I have two brothers and a sister, so they're all younger. I'm the oldest. They're all great. You know how siblings are. Like when you're younger, you have like your turbulence, and then when you get older, you get on really well. But I love them all. I do miss them, yeah, but they're great, and it was really nice to grow up in a family with siblings. I think because it's a nice like feeling of
Are they
community
all
and
still
family
in
and stuff.
Ireland or?
Yeah, they're all in Ireland, but my sister is looking actually to come over to Liverpool in for university for her last 2 years of university, so that'll be nice and close to London as well. And my brother, yeah, he's living at home as well. And then my little brother, he's 13, so he's still in his like troublesome teens and and all
Not
the
ready
rest. So
to leave the family nest just yet.
no, definitely not.
All right, and Aimee, tell me about the 5, 10, 15, and 20-year-old Aimee. How would you describe yourself back then?
Ooh, so I have a terrible memory of my childhood. I will always say this, but I know that when I was young, because my mum actually found a little diary from when I was
Oh,
maybe 7 years old. I'll go to seven. That said, when I grow up, I want to be a famous actress and singer.
no
That was
way.
always, yeah. So clearly, that was always a desire of me to be a singer and do acting. So I think that part of me, that little inner child, knew that that's what I wanted to do. But yeah, I was a bit of a goody two shoes when I was a child. I'm not gonna lie, but also always loved adventure. Pretty reckless, like when it comes to like driving down the hill fast on my bike and stuff. Yeah, so that was me when I was younger. I think I always knew that I wanted to do that, and I'd say, like, 15-year-old me, I worked really hard in school. I was really, really determined to do as well as I could in my exams and stuff. But I also was like so obsessed with singing. I used to like be part of the local choir and the school choir and musicals and stuff like that. There was always that part of me, although that wasn't the path that I was going to take at the time because I was really loving languages at that time. I thought I was going to be a teacher. That 15-year-old me was like just determined to be not competitive with other people, but competitive with myself and become like better for myself all the time. And then I'd say 20-year-old me was really determined to succeed like with musical theater and stuff, but was when I look back now, I realize how little I knew, how much you think you know, but how little you know about how to overcome like pressure in other people's voices and just people telling you to do this, or just even confidence within yourself and believing and trusting in who you are and the decisions that you're going to make. And now, even at 25, I'm still like learning. I've realized that you're never going to stop healing and growing, and there's always going to be stuff coming up to be healed. But also, I think now I've reached the stage of no, like I'm trusting myself, and those voices are just, they're there to be listened to, but also follow your own gut and just eke out the voices, because do what you want. It's your life, with respect.
Yeah. And what did you study after you graduated from high school in Ireland?
I did musical theatre, so I trained in like acting, singing, dance, performance. It was amazing. It was very, very tough because like doing drama school and working like 4 days a week, but it was so worth it. And you grow a lot. It's scary because it's
Anything
very
that's new is scary, right?
yeah, it's competitive in nature, and you have to have constant like be working on your self-esteem and self-love in the industry, because when you're told no, it's unnatural to be disappointed, but you have to become resistant and be like, okay, thank you, next. Let's move on. Let's take the lessons. So I think that was probably the biggest challenge from studying musical theatre as well. But it was worth it because it led on to where I wanted to be, which is nice.
So, did you study theater, acting school, musical in Ireland, or did you have to leave to go and study abroad?
Yeah, so I went from Ireland to London, so that's why I came over to London, because obviously it's the center of everything, musical and theatre. Ireland at the time didn't really have the school I went to now does have a branch in Ireland, but I was always very adventurous. I wanted to like flee the nest, but just because I wanted to see other places and I loved the idea of being in London. But to be honest, if you want to study something like that within the UK, London is probably the place. You're surrounded by music and theatres. So yeah, it was really good to go to London. It was like a freedom thing as well. It was nice.
And so, if you could remember of your best memories from, I don't know, like growing up in Ireland in the countryside with your family to, your now adult life, what would be, let's say, your top three biggest, most high defining moments in your life?
Defining moments in my life. I think probably when I was 18 was quite a defining moment, because that's when I made the switch. I was always going to be a teacher, but I wanted to teach French and Italian, and that's what I was going to go on and study. And I still love languages.
So you
But
speak four
when
languages? Irish, English, French, and Italian?
well, the Irish is a little bit rough, I'm not gonna lie. And the Italian I've probably forgotten a lot of, but little bits. But the French is a bit better. um, but I did a show called Miss Saigon, like in a school production, and I played like Kim, which was the lead role, which was my first time doing that. And I just remember standing on that stage at one moment and being like, "This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do." Like, this feeling came over me of just I have to be on stage. And then since that was a turning point, because I think that determined where I was going to go. But I felt so pressured, although nobody else around me was pressuring me. I felt, oh, I've told everyone I've applied for like French, and like I've applied for like universities to study this, and now I have to turn around and tell everyone, oh, I've just suddenly changed my mind and I want to go on and be a singer. So I didn't do drama at A level because and GCSE because I was scared to do it. Even though I was doing it outside of school and stuff. But so it was a big turning point, I think. So that's one of them.
So you really found yourself at a fork where you had to make the biggest decision between logic, like cerebral decision, and following your heart and your gut feeling and your calling.
Yeah.
Must have been.
I feel like
really,
when the calling is, ooh, it's so hard because I'm Capricorn, and I, even though people might think I'm very airy fairy at times, yes, I also think about every logical outcome of things, and like the logic of whatever I'm going to do. So yeah, it was a process, and I think like my family were like, oh, maybe you should do the languages first and then do the musical theater, which makes sense. Like I get it.
As a backup plan, to have a degree
Yeah.
at least.
Well, I have learned that having something as a backup during COVID and things like that is useful, but I know 100% I followed the right path. Like I felt it, and I think when you have a calling so strong, you can't really overcome the need to follow it because it will always come back and try to pull you towards it. So that was one big defining moment. I think the next one was probably drama school because it was challenging, and I managed to get through it. And yeah, I think that for me was a very big challenge, and it led to me like getting an agent and stuff like that. So that was, yeah, that was like a big achievement kind of thing for me. And
And
then
tell me, Amy, about 2019 when you went on tour, because you're a singer and you also are a musician. So tell me about the tour, the world tour that you did in 2019 or
oh my
2020
gosh,
when it ended, like just
2020.
before.
Yeah, oh my gosh, like that would have been my next thing. It was incredible. Like, whenever you just finally reach that dream that you've had for a long time to sing in front of, or whatever your dream is, but mine was to sing on like a big stage like a proper theater in front of people, like professionally. And it happened, and I remember the day where like I knew I had that job, and I was like running around. I ran around my flat and just like, just high vibes, complete. Yeah, literally like that. So it was really beautiful. And then every day when I went out on stage, we would have sound check. It would be new theater every day. We did Germany, Switzerland. We did Switzerland, Holland as well. It was Rhythm of the Dance. It was an Irish dance show, and I was singing in it. So it was just amazing. Like you see new cities every day. I remember the feeling of going on stage for the first time, nerve wracking. Like because it was probably the most people that I've sang in front of on a professional level. So I was like but it was amazing. But I remember walking out every day in the sound check and just sitting down and looking at the theater and just being like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, it was just so like to do what you love and get paid for it. That's the goal for everyone. It never felt like not one day when I went on stage I was like, I'm working. I'm like, no, I'm just doing what I love.
And
It's crazy.
yeah, and if I remember, didn't you also tour? Was it in the US and in Canada, or was it just US?
Yes, no, we did US as well. So we did US right before the pandemic. Luckily, we just finished the tour minus maybe 3 shows. This was in February, March time. And that was like the Americans, they love the Irish music as well. So that was really, really, really amazing. And just to get to see places like Arizona and the Grand Canyon and do what you love and travel at the same time. Like I I always say, oh, I'll never take anything for granted again, like being on stage because we haven't in the pandemic. But I look back and I really did take everything in. So I just can't wait to be back doing that again because I've now missed a few tours because of or a tour because of the pandemic. But it's okay. We're gonna be back on soon. I hope.
Any news on when the UK will reopen the theater and entertainment industry anytime soon, or?
Yeah, it should be May, June time. Hopefully everything by June. They've set a goal now that by the 21st of June they'd like to get rid of all of the social restrictions and like nightclubs be back open, theater, everything. So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything
Fingers
crossed.
crossed.
And if I could give you, Amy, a magic wand so that you could return at any year of your past life, when would it be? Would you change anything? And if so, why?
Oh, this is a strange question because yeah, there's lots of things that I probably could change and go back and tell myself, but the fact is like I can't change them.
Yeah, but you
Just
have the
little
magic wand that
things.
I gave you.
Oh, I have a magic wand. Okay. I guess I would tell myself to be, I don't know, just focus on one thing at a time. Like with the music, like either choose to go and do the theater or choose to do your own music or just, I'm not just talking about overall, but I'm like at a time, one thing. So I got caught up in a lot of different things that were taking me kind of off my path, but obviously it was part of my journey. I would just go back and tell myself, just focus on what you're doing. And I think I would try, I would definitely, definitely, definitely make myself learn piano younger and be
Oh,
better at it because so that I could start songwriting a lot earlier than I have. Like when I was younger, that's one thing I wish. But everything has worked out perfectly, and all the lessons along the way, they're for a reason. So I guess I wouldn't really change anything because it wouldn't be.
Like you say I would have learned piano earlier on. Is it that you learned like by ear playing yourself on your own, or you took lessons to know like how to read the notes?
I don't read notes. I can read notes slowly, but I don't like. I just I play it just by learning chords myself. Like I think I've tried like a few times learning little bits, but I never fully learned it until the pandemic because I was just kind of, you're forced into like solitaire. So I was just like, I'm gonna really learn. It's actually Liam piano. He left it with me when he went away, and I just that's when I really got into the songwriting because I started to trust. Okay, I can teach myself, and I can write, and it's a journey as well. Like you get better and better, and still got lots of improvement. But I'm enjoying the journey of it, and like what I'm writing at the moment and stuff as well, which is good.
Aimee, if you were to leave your physical body tomorrow to go to heaven or whatever place, what would you like people to remember you by, and what legacy would you like to leave behind you?
Um, I think the most important thing is that I want to inspire people to believe that they're enough and that they have the voice within them. So I think I want people to know me as the person who always tried to make people see the best in themselves. I think that's what it would be because I think that everyone, no matter what their life journey is or what they've done, everyone has good and everyone does bad as we perceive it, but everyone at the end of the day, we shouldn't judge them and just have compassion. So that's how I feel like I'd want the world to view me, as someone who has compassion and loves. That's it.
Awesome. And Aimee, what project or projects can you share with us that you're doing right now or that's in the work to come out soon? Because I know you've already released your first single on Spotify last month,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm going to share
Mm-hmm.
the link in the description below so that everybody can hear her beautiful voice. But what's in the work right now that you can talk to us about?
Right now, it's the music video for the song I just released. It was filmed last week, I think, yeah. So it's now in edit, and it'll be out in March, which is exciting. I'm looking forward to it because it's a new creative venture, and obviously, like seeing yourself on screen isn't as easy as people think it is. It's another internal challenge, but it's really cool as well. Like, and just that for me, that was like a really good chance to get like the artisticness and like creativity and just my own ideas out and stuff. So I'm excited for that. I'm also working on another song as well with a producer that I met when I was on tour. He's over in Nashville. But yeah, so I've just sent him some of my work and he's produced a track and I'm going to do some vocals. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. It's kind of a sad ballad when I was going through like a bit of a rough patch, but everyone needs a sad ballad because it's all contrast and that situation's all good now, so it doesn't matter. But it led to, this is what I mean, I wouldn't change anything in any way of life, even some of the negative things that happen, because they lead you to creating a piece of art or whatever it is that we do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one coming out. I haven't got a date for it yet. It just depends on like production and stuff, but I'm kind of aiming towards April, May time.
Awesome,
Mm-hmm.
awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. So, will you, like, are you working on this right now in London, or do you have to go abroad to meet up or go into studios to record all of that?
So the great thing about music is like you can do it remotely. He's working on his side, and then I can do vocals, and then I send those vocals, and then they mix and master them. So it's all like it can all be done separately as long as you've got the equipment. So all I need is a mic and like the right system on my computer and all of that. So it's really good what you can do with music remotely, which is yeah, I can do it from anywhere.
And the video that you did or that you're working on, like, is it like, was it shot in London?
Yes, so I actually had originally planned to do it at a castle in Ireland. That was the idea, but the pandemic struck and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. So I actually did it in my house, right here against this wall with a backdrop. We used the bathroom for bath shots. We used outside, just loads of different like creative shots. And it just shows you what you can do. Like when you have to do it, you can just do it DIY. But I had a great videographer, I'd recommend everyone to check her out. She's called Bella Roberts. She's a talented young girl. She's 18 and she's at the Met Film School. But yeah, she did a really, really good job, and I'm looking forward to like everyone seeing it as well.
Thank you very much. And I'm gonna share also her link, below in the description, so that people who are interested in doing business with her, can reach out to her. And last question to you, Aimee, because I know that you are busy today also. How can people find you, to get to you, to get to your music, and to follow you on social media?
They can find me. My username's the same on most of the platforms. It's Aimee Faye. Some people will say Aimee Fee, AIMEEFEE, music. And that's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and everything. And also on YouTube. They can find my song on, if you go onto my Instagram, there's a link for my song. That's probably the easiest way for all of the streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple and stuff. So that's probably the best way.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time. And everybody, I really recommend you to go and check her out. She's awesome. She has a voice of an angel. And I'm so excited to see the video coming up next soon. So thank you,
Thanks,
everybody, for tuning. Bye for now.
Thank you.